The sound hit me first, not my daughter's scream, but the wet splatter of something thick hitting fabric, followed by that awful collective gasp that comes right before people decide whether to be horrified or entertained. I was still in the kitchen, birthday cake half-plated, when I heard my family choose entertainment. I ran outside just as 8-year-old Maya doubled over, clawing at her face with paint-covered hands. The white sundress she'd spent an hour picking out for Grandpa's 60th birthday party was now streaked with viscous red paint and craft glitter. Above her, an orange Home Depot bucket swung lazily from the rose trellis, dripping the last of its contents onto the patio stones. My sister Riley stood 3 feet away, phone held high, zooming in on my daughter's distress with the clinical focus of someone who'd done this before. 29 years old and still chasing viral moments like they were oxygen. "That's gold," Riley narrated into her phone, her voice pitched with that fake enthusiasm influencers use. "The face journey is everything. This is going to break 100,000 easy." Maya's hands were shaking as she tried to wipe the mixture from her eyes. "It burns, Mommy. I can't see." The laughter started before I could reach her, not just chuckling, full-throated howling from my cousins by the grill. My father doubled over, beer sloshing from his bottle. My mother clapped her hands together like she was at a comedy show. "Oh my God, her little face," Mom wheezed, actually wiping tears from her eyes. "That's the best thing I've seen all year." Something in my chest went very cold and very clear. I crossed the lawn in 4 strides, paint splashing onto my shoes, and slapped the phone out of Riley's hand mid-recording. The device hit the patio with a satisfying crack against the wrought iron chair leg. Riley's scream could have shattered glass. "You psycho! That's the new iPhone 15. Do you know what that costs?" I dropped to my knees in the paint puddle, using my shirt hem to clear the red sludge from Maya's eyes. Her whole body was trembling, small hiccuping sobs as she tried to blink the mixture away. "Look at me, baby. Open your eyes slowly. I've got you." "Why would Aunt Riley do that?" Maya's voice cracked on every word. I said no. I said, "Please don't." My mother's heels clicked across the stones, stopping right beside us. She didn't look at Maya, didn't offer a towel or water, just stared down at me with the same expression she'd worn my whole life when I'd disappointed her. "What's wrong with you?" Her voice dropped to that dangerous register I knew too well. "You're making a scene. It was just for fun. Riley's followers love this kind of content." Fun. I stood slowly, pulling Maya against my side. She buried her face in my stomach, getting paint all over my shirt. "You call dumping chemicals on a child fun?" "It's washable paint, drama queen." Riley snatched up her cracked phone, screen spider-webbed, but still recording. I was live. "Do you have any idea how many people were watching? You owe me $1,500 right now for this phone, plus damages to my brand." I looked around the circle of faces. My father, my aunts, my cousins, uncles, 15 people who'd watched my daughter beg and cry, and not one of them had moved to stop it. They looked annoyed that I'd interrupted the show. My father set down his beer with exaggerated patience. "Apologize to your sister. You broke her property. This is unacceptable behavior at a family gathering." My name is Harper. I'm 37 and a financial analyst. This is the story of how I finally made them see me. The 3 weeks before this party had been consumed with planning. I'd coordinated with the caterer, arranged the rental chairs, picked up the custom cake, hung the banner. My father had called twice to complain that I wasn't doing enough, that Grandpa's birthday deserved the full treatment. I'd done it all while working 50-hour weeks and managing Maya's summer activities alone. Her father had vanished when she was 2, just stopped showing up for his custody weekends until I stopped asking. I'd eventually filed for full custody and child support, which he never contested, probably relieved to be officially free of us. My family knew this. They knew I was barely holding it together. But this was what we did in my family. I fixed things, I planned things, I paid for things. And they took credit and decided I still hadn't done enough. "If you walk out now," my mother said, her voice carrying across the suddenly quiet patio, "don't come crawling back when you need a babysitter. Don't call when you're lonely. You're tearing this family apart." Maya's fingers dug into my sides. "Mommy, can we go?" Riley was already back on her phone, filming us, her voice syrupy with false concern. "My sister just attacked me because she's jealous of my success. Watch her run away like she always does. This is what narcissism looks like, guys." The walk to the car felt endless. I could feel every eye on our backs, hear the whispers starting. "So sensitive," my aunt murmured. "That kid needs to toughen up," my father said, loud enough to ensure I heard him. "World's going to eat her alive if she cries over every little thing." I buckled Maya into her booster seat, her sundress stiff and sticky with drying paint. Riley appeared on the porch, still filming, narrating our departure like it was a reality show finale. My hands shook on the steering wheel the entire drive to the gas station. In the fluorescent-lit bathroom, I spent 40 minutes scrubbing paint off Maya's skin with rough paper towels and pink hand soap. The glitter was impossible. It clung to her eyelashes, stuck in the corners of her eyes, embedded in her nail beds. "Why does Grandma hate us?" Maya asked, staring at her reflection in the smudged mirror. Her eyes were rimmed red from crying and scrubbing. "Did I do something bad?" "No, sweetheart, you didn't do anything wrong." But Grandma laughed. Her voice got very small. "She thought it was funny when I was scared." That sentence hit harder than anything else that had happened, because Maya was right. My mother had laughed at her granddaughter's pain, had clapped, had called it the best thing she'd seen all year. And I had spent 37 years making excuses for exactly this kind of behavior, telling myself Mom was just old-fashioned, Dad was just gruff. Riley was just young and didn't understand boundaries yet. I'd played peacemaker, absorbing their cruelty so I could keep Maya connected to her only living grandparents. I'd been protecting the wrong people. Our apartment was quiet when we got home. A 2-bedroom walk-up in a neighborhood my parents called unfortunate, but never offered to help me leave. I ran Maya a warm bath and sat on the closed toilet lid while she soaked, watching red-tinged water swirl down the drain. My phone had been buzzing in my pocket the whole time. I finally looked. Mom. "Riley is devastated. You humiliated us in front of the whole family." Dad. "Transfer the money for the phone by tonight. Don't make me come over there." Riley. "I'm pressing charges for assault and property damage. $1,500 for the phone, plus $500 emotional distress. My followers are destroying your Facebook right now. Good luck showing your face at work." I opened Facebook with a sense of dread I should have anticipated. Riley had posted the video, not the part where she dumped paint on Maya, but the part where I slapped her phone away. The caption read, "Attacked by my own sister at Dad's birthday party. Jealousy is a disease when your sibling can't handle your success. Hashtag toxic family, hashtag assault, hashtag influencer life." The comments were already in the hundreds. Strangers calling me psycho, crazy, saying I should be in jail, saying Riley should press charges, saying children need to learn to take jokes. My mother had liked the post. My cousins had shared it. They were rewriting reality in real time, and they had the audience to make their version stick. That evening at home, I poured a glass of wine after putting Maya to bed. She'd cried herself to sleep, exhausted from the kind of emotional devastation an 8-year-old shouldn't know exists. I sat at my cluttered desk in the apartment, intending to deactivate my social media accounts, maybe hide until the storm passed. That's when I knocked over the stack of mail. A thick manila envelope slid onto the floor, and I stared at it for a long moment before my brain made the connection. The bank. The mortgage statement I'd stopped opening months ago because nothing ever changed. Then I remembered. 5 years ago, my parents facing foreclosure after my father's failed business venture. My mother refusing to downsize her lifestyle even as the debt piled up. They'd been 3 months from losing the house, the big 4-bedroom colonial in the good neighborhood, the one that signaled their status in ways they valued more than food or family. I was the only one with decent credit and savings. I'd worked 2 jobs through college, graduated without debt, saved relentlessly. They'd begged me at this same kitchen table, my mother holding my hands, promising things would be different if I just saved them from the shame of bankruptcy. So I bought their house, took out a mortgage in my name, Used my entire savings for the down payment. $60,000 I'd been saving since I was 16. We'd signed a lease agreement. They'd pay monthly rent that barely covered the mortgage interest. I'd stay in my cheap apartment. They'd get to keep living like nothing had changed, pretending they still owned the place while I scraped by in a neighborhood they wouldn't visit. I dug through my file cabinet with shaking hands, found the lease agreement. My fingers traced the dates. Term, 5 years. Start date, June 1st, 2019. End date, June 1st, 2024. I looked at my phone. July 22nd, 2024. The lease had expired 7 weeks ago. The contract was explicit. Upon expiration, if no renewal was signed, the tenancy became at will, terminable by the landlord with 30 days' notice. If the tenant had violated terms of conduct, such as using the property to conduct harassment or illegal activities, the timeline could be accelerated. They'd forgotten. In 5 years of treating me like their personal assistant and ATM, they'd completely forgotten that I held the deed to their kingdom. My phone rang. Mom. The old me would have let it ring, would have been terrified of whatever venom was coming. But the paper in my hand felt like armor. I answered. Yes? You need to listen very carefully. Her voice was ice. Riley's video has 15,000 views. She's going to ruin you, but I can make her take it down. I can fix this. What do you want? You're going to record a video apology. You're going to admit you were jealous of Riley's success and that you overreacted due to stress. You're going to pay for her phone, and you're going to give her an extra $1,000 for pain and suffering. If you do this by tomorrow morning, we won't press charges. We'll let you back into the family. A trap. A perfect humiliating trap. If I made that video, they'd own me forever. They'd replay it at every family gathering, use it to dismiss me for years. And if I refused... And if I don't? I asked quietly. Then you're dead to us. She spat the words. Don't think you're getting any inheritance. We're cutting you off completely. You'll be nothing. You'll always be nothing. Inheritance. The word almost made me laugh. There was no inheritance. There was only the debt in the house I owned and they occupied. Okay, I said. I understand your position. Good. Her voice softened slightly, mistaking my calm for submission. Send the money tonight. Don't make us wait. She hung up, confident she'd won. She didn't realize that by threatening to cut me off, she'd severed the only thing that had protected her all these years. My guilt. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I spent the hours between midnight and dawn drafting documents, making calls, setting pieces in motion. I started with my law school friend Marcus, who confirmed what I'd suspected. The lease expiration gave me full legal grounds to evict. The part of me that used to cry over them had died, watching my mother laugh at my daughter's pain. At 8 a.m., I called Jessica from college. She'd become a real estate agent who specialized in quick cash sales to investors. I have a property to sell, prime suburban location. I want it gone in 30 days. I don't care if I take a hit on market value. Is it occupied? Technically, no. The lease expired. They're holding over without my permission. At 9 a.m., I went to the bank and blocked future transfers from my father's account. Accepting rent would imply renewal of the month-to-month arrangement. At 10 a.m., I hired a process server. I wasn't delivering this news in person. I wasn't giving them a stage for their performance. 2 days later, the bomb dropped. I was at work, deep in a quarterly report, when my phone exploded. Mom, Dad, Riley, Mom again, Dad again, Aunt Linda, Riley again. I put it on Do Not Disturb and kept working, feeling a strange, weightless sensation in my chest. At lunch, I listened to the first voicemail. Harper, what is this? My father's voice sounded smaller than I'd ever heard it. There's a man here. He gave us papers. It says notice to quit. Says the house is being listed for sale. You can't do this. This is my house. I've lived here for 20 years. The second voicemail was my mother, no longer cold and controlled. She was screaming, a raw, panicked sound I'd never heard from her. You ungrateful brat, how dare you? We're your parents. You can't kick us out. Where are we supposed to go? You call this off right now. Right now. The third was Riley, her influencer voice cracking. You can't sell the house. My entire studio is set up here. I have brand deals, production schedules. You're literally ruining my career. This is so illegal. I'm calling my lawyer." I typed one message, sent it to the family group chat. "You told me I was ruining the party. You told me I was dead to you. You told me not to come back. I'm selling the house to recover my investment. You have 30 days to vacate. Locks change August 22nd. Do not contact me again or I will file for a restraining order. All communication through my lawyer." Then I blocked all of them. The extended family, aunts, uncles, cousins who'd laughed that day filled my voicemail with outrage. But I blocked them too, one by one, severing every connection to that world. The next 3 weeks were filled with their legal threats, all of which dissolved the moment a lawyer looked at the actual paperwork. Riley's assault claims disappeared just as quickly when my attorney pointed out that her own video showed her dumping chemicals on a child. She'd filmed her own crime. They had no lease, no ownership, nothing but 5 years of entitlement I'd subsidized while living in a walk-up they were ashamed to visit. Jessica found a developer who wanted to gut and flip. The closing was set for August 23rd. On eviction day, I almost didn't go, but something pulled me to drive past, not to gloat, but to witness the end of something. I parked 2 houses down and watched. The moving truck was too small for all their furniture. I saw my father throwing boxes into the back, his movements jerky and desperate. He looked old suddenly, smaller. Riley sat on the curb in her expensive athleisure, mascara streaked down her face, phone in her hand but not filming. For once, she was just a 29-year-old woman who'd built her entire identity around a backdrop she was losing. My mother paced the driveway in her designer heels, screaming at the movers, but they ignored her. They dealt with evictions before. They knew entitlement when they saw it. I should have felt triumph. Instead, I felt the ghost of the girl who'd just wanted them to love her, who'd believed that if she tried hard enough, sacrificed enough, they'd finally see her value. Then I glanced in the rearview mirror. Maya was in the back seat with a book, humming softly. Her eyes were clear. The paint was long gone. She looked up and caught my eye in the mirror. "Are we going to the new house now, Mama?" With the equity from the sale, money that was legally mine since I'd paid every cent of the mortgage for 5 years, I'd bought a townhouse 3 towns over, better schools, a neighborhood where no one knew Riley or my mother, a place where Maya could be a kid without becoming content. "Yeah, baby." I smiled, and this time it reached somewhere real. "We're going home." I put the car in drive and pulled away. Didn't look back at the driveway. Didn't watch them loading the truck. They'd wanted drama. They'd wanted a show. They'd spent years treating me like a supporting character in their performance. But I'd finally figured out the truth. I was never meant to be in their story. I was always meant to write my own. And this time, I got to choose the ending. Before you go, here's a quick bonus for sticking around. If you love learning and growing like I do, you need to try audiobooks. I've got an exclusive deal with Audible. Your first month is completely free. That's access to over 500,000 titles. 0 cost to you. All the details are waiting in the description. Don't miss this one.